So what we're about to deal with is the strategy themselves. And I'm going to split this out into what we call the spectrum: marketing, sales, operations, cash, and talent. This is what empowers everything. And if you've got one gap there, which most people do, in fact, most people have two, then it stalls everything on speed, acceleration, and scale. So before we do that, let's just understand this video is part of a bigger sequence, right? So if you want to go back, the original video was actually showing you why one-page plans work, the fundamental foundations of the plans, if you want to make that sense. It's like, where is the vision? We went deep into why vision's important, why you need to know where you are today, and why strategy is the bridge. We also talked about execution and measurement. So that's the first piece to this puzzle. So go back if you haven't. It depends on where you're watching this, but just go back to that first piece of the series. That will put that in context. Now, as we move into strategy, you will also see on the left-hand side of the page there, we got vision, which we've dealt with. There's also purpose, values, and USP. We're going to come to those in future videos. And just know you want strategy first. So let's just give you that. But purpose is key to all of this, and we're going to come back and deal with it. Don't you worry, in one of the next sequence of videos. So first up, though, we're going to deal with the foundations of strategy. That's what we're going to deal with today. Now, let me give you a case on this. So I've been blessed to work on so many boards, right? I walked into a board, this was about 8 years ago now, and that board was fragmented. It had grown to about 3 million-ish. It was stagnating. It had been hovering for a while. The board had fallen out. There was actually multiple divisions in this business, but they were running one strategy, or so they thought. And whatever it wasn't working, and it was failing. We actually came in and decided there was such a fallout there that we were going to work a purpose exit to this, because it was like there was no purpose anymore. So it's what I call a purpose exit. If there's no purpose, let's exit, right? And which we did. Now, in that process to exit the business, we got clear. There was clearly 4 divisions. That's why the strategy wasn't working, because we were trying to execute one strategy. There wasn't. There was 4, and then there was 4 fundamentals within that. The moment we got clarity, everyone started aligning. All of the talent started to lean behind each of the individual divisions, because now they were clear on what they needed to achieve. The acceleration factor from that in the following 18 months doubled the business, a stagnating business. And in this case, there was no talent change. It was literally a repurpose and a redirection of the strategy within the business, lining up the 5 elements of the spectrum, but in its right context, which is in the right direction. Only by doing that did everything fire. 2 years later, we didn't do an exit. The board had fallen in love with the business again. We took them on a next level of scale. They actually acquired a PLC, and then fast forward 5 years later, they exited for 10x the original. So this is the power of strategy. It's about focus and clarity, but we must know where that focus and clarity needs to lean first. So let's move into this. Now let's go and talk about the spectrum of strategy and the 5 elements: marketing, sales, operations, cash, talent. Let's begin at the beginning, shall we? Marketing.